Well, folks, it's that time of year again. You can tell by the hats, it's clearly Hanukkah once again. And thank you, folks, for joining us tonight. James, no, nothing. I thought that would be funny.
I didn't hear you because I was reading something that popped up. We're having trouble streaming. Anyway, what did you say?
It was hilarious.
Happy Hanukkah.
Goodbye. Well, we got the Santa Claus hats on, folks. Merry Christmas. Tonight, we are having our Soaring Profits Christmas Extravaganza.
Oh, and, yeah.
Basically, what that is two dudes in Santa hats sitting around, chatting, talking about the year in review.
And why are we having said Santa review Christmas Extravaganza?
Pardon?
Well, I'm just saying, so some people may be like, where's Rachel? I was promised a Rachel.
So Rachel had to cancel this evening because she has some sort of bronchial problem, and she will be back next week. We have rescheduled Rachel. Rachel, if you're watching, hope you're doing well, dear. Oh, I'm losing my pom-pom every once in a while here. But yes, so folks, we wanted to take a little bit of time here and kind of go over the last year of where we've been. Just a couple guys that started this interesting podcast, wanting to have these, tabletop conversations, really kind of enjoying ourselves and having a good time. And we've kind of tackled some interesting problems, interesting interviews, some unique people over the last little while here. And, we're looking at what's next in 2023. So obviously we are strikingly handsome gentlemen with the intellect to match. And that's what we're really looking forward to 2023 and everything that holds, and some of the opportunities, that we've been talking about for the last little while. And so it's been kind
of. I was thinking today on my run, I was thinking about like exactly this, because you had messaged me a couple hours ago and went, just so you know, Rachel's out. And I went, oh, okay. And then you said Christmas Extravaganza. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. And I was thinking way back when we first said, you know what, we're going to do this. We're going to have some conversations. Then we decided it was just you and I.
Right.
We did this cartoon thing. And that was a lot of fun. And we argued a bit and it was all right. But it just wasn't perfect. And then we started doing the interviews. And so I was like thinking about it. And you and I were like frantically, like just randomly picking interesting people we knew. Like I got my buddy Mike and my buddy Wendy, and then my godson Colin. You got like a few of your friends like Shannon and Sarah and my friend Amy, and they just kept on building. And then all of a sudden it took off. And then we had people like Bob, who like sexual survivor, and Scott, who is an urban, urban, I don't know, what do you call him? Urban hero, urban missionary, who goes in and feeds the homeless. Right. And Lisa, who's an author, who's like telling everyone's story. And the ghostwriter, Allison, and we have some great interviews coming up. And you know what, what was his name from, not Justin, the Canada trade vehicle show.
Right.
Yeah. What the heck was his name? Campbell.
Yeah. The Campbell family have been a great
Campbell family
process here.
All the soup.
All the soups. Soupies.
Yeah. And then Ross himself. Like, God, Ross is such a great character.
No.
I look forward to having him on again.
No, like you say, from where we were when we first started this, about 6 or 7 months into this, to as a couple wacky characters with these Oculus headsets on. At some point, I'm going to take the hat off doing this as well, just as an aside. But it's been an interesting process. And, now we're talking about what our next steps are, being able to step into our community and help some of these people that are a little bit less fortunate than us. And this platform has been a kind of a unique way of doing that. And I'm really excited to see what that does for next year. And it's that time of year, right? When Christmas comes around and you kind of get those warm feelings and you're fighting people for teddy bears in malls. Because if you haven't fought anyone for a teddy bear yet, you're missing out, folks.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, there should be hands thrown at every December.
Especially if you can like elbow a grandma once or twice.
Yeah, they're hard, though. Like a lot of those women went through like the Great Depression. Like they know how to fight.
That's true. And usually they have like a little knife or a needle of some kind, like a
sewing needle.
Sewing needle. Yeah. But you're an athlete, I hear. So,
hey, we got some
I've heard.
sponsorship stuff. So you're a little butthurt about that, eh? You're not very thrilled. I get one
Well, I'm a
sponsorship
little butthurt about a
opportunity.
lot of things lately, but
I
yeah,
get
that
one
was
sponsorship opportunity, and James like, you're not an athlete.
You're
Ridiculous.
not.
Yeah, I'm still living off the high
Tell
school.
what you told me when I said, "Hey, so this person thinks that you're an athlete and wants to sponsor you." Tell them what you said. Go ahead, tell them. Al
I
Bundy.
don't remember. What did I say? I think I said a lot of things.
No, Al Bundy. What did you say?
Oh, am I back to my high school glory days?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I played football in college. I got rings.
I'm just saying, I got a couple of rings at home. I'm not bringing it up. You might have brought it up, but I'm just saying, you got any provincial championships? And what was your line?
I got 3 medals this year.
Right. For
running. 3
For what?
medals. Participation. But
nailed it. But no, you know what? The hat's coming off.
Okay.
You know what? It's been a very cool, a very interesting process. And, you know, we've had a lot of fun, and we have a lot of fun behind the scenes. And this is something that I think in the next year here, for all the profiteers out there, we want to really include you guys in what's coming next. And it's a little early to kind of make, you know, what some of the plans we have coming down the line yet. But it's one of those things that I think over the next, 12 to 18 months, if we can continue to do what we're doing, reaching out, touching some of the people in our community, I think you're going to be surprised in where we are. And we want to hear from you guys, right? So 2022 has been kind of an experimental year, and we're looking at 2023 as being able to dive into that a little bit more. And we're super excited. James is out running 20 kilometers a night kind of thing. I still think you should get a car. It's easier. Groceries must be really tricky.
It is hard. It is. Yeah. I got to have a backpack, and ice cream melts because it takes about 3 hours to ride.
Right. Yeah.
But no, you're absolutely right. Like, we've had a wonderful year, I think. And it just seemed like everything built upon everything. Like, it just, at first it was like a slow kind of roll that we were like, who are we going to get this week?
Right.
And then all of a sudden it just filled up. And like, we have into like February, we have interviews from really super interesting people. And like, one lady's from Brazil. And like, I'm super excited. And like you said, we're working on opportunities with other agencies, we'll say, that are pretty exciting, that like what we're doing, and are kind of excited about the direction we might be able to work something. We're really looking at being on the ground a lot more next year, a lot more of being on site and doing some press stuff, which will be cool. Soaring Profits, it's funny because I was also thinking that, do you remember what our first name was? Way back when, As We See It with Pat and James. That's what we were called. We branded it. We had YouTube. You probably could find it still. We had YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. It was all As We See It with Pat and James.
Right.
And then we decided that.
And there was the earlier name than that. Do you remember that one?
Oh, yes, I do.
You remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
But we didn't. It didn't work because it was too close to another name.
Well, it was Pat and the Band.
Yeah, the band didn't like that.
Yeah, but that's the problem, right? Like you get like, who's the band? Yeah,
that's right. No one cared about the band.
I never did. Showing off the rings.
Yeah, well, you got the rings. Yeah.
No, it's been an interesting journey, and so this kind of started from, we were laughing, joking, shooting the shit. We'd go out and have a beer, and we profiteers. You guys have heard this all before, but it's kind of interesting to kind of reflect on it now that we've done some of the things that we've done, and then now some of the things that are kind of like falling into place, right? But sitting around and like, how can we do this easily and get some content out there and just kind of have some fun with it. So yeah, it's been a wild ride, but I wanted to do something along the lines of a finance-driven page talking about the stock world, the news, and this year has been one for the ages, and it's been kind of a tough one to try to keep up, to be quite frank. You've had a stock market crash, something out of the 08, 09 type era, the crazy world that we're living in. all of the news. It seems like we've just been topic after topic after topic after topic after topic after topic that has just been bombarded. And I hate to say it, but it feels as somebody who's trying to put content out there, it feels very much like you're in kind of a tornado the entire time that you're talking about things. Whether it be this political hot button topic you can't talk about, or that political hot button topic you can't talk about. And that's where I'm hoping that if we can go into 2023, we kind of rip some of those band-aids off and really get back to our mission of let's have a tabletop discussion where it can be a little painful, it can be a little controversial, it can be a little bit of all these things, but it's just going to be real. It's going to be exactly what that conversation needs to be. And that's where, some of the things that I've talked about, James is doing the Soaring Profits and Friends for December and for the new year. And like one of the things that we brought up there is I'm talking about what's going on with Elon Musk and Twitter and all those things. And there's like two groups. It's either like one group is like, I love it, it's so great, we need to shed light on this stuff. And it's like the other group is like, you should be taking it back and whipped. It's just a very good time, right?
Yeah, everyone seems very divisive. It's not just like everyone gets to have an opinion. It's more like if you don't share my opinion, you're an asshole and you can't be my friend. You can't be my friend on Facebook even. Like it's the weirdest thing that if you don't believe in, it started. Well, it was before. It was probably started at Black Lives Matter era, which we can't talk about. But that's probably where it started. But then it kind of moved into vaccines and COVID. And I remember these like friends of mine like getting all upset that someone was like, I don't want to get vaccines. Okay, don't get them.
Right.
Like I don't care what you do.
Right.
I'm going to get them. I believe in them. You don't. Go do what you want. But people actually were angry and were like, how dare you?
Right.
And I was like, who cares? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You do you and have a good time and don't worry about it. I never understood why everyone was getting so very angry about it. I get that they were worried that grandma was going to die, but I think what they were missing is that grandma was going to possibly die anyway. Right? It's a harsh thing to say, but it's true.
James is just stacking them like cordwood.
Just true.
No, and this is where we are, and it feels, if you had taken me back 2 years in a time machine, and you had have said all of the information in the last month and a half that's come out, any one item, I would have been like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like that's world changing, shattering. It changed the whole view of the world. And here we are over the last month, we've had like 3, 4, 5 major revelations come out, and we're all like, okay.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're all like, what's next?
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing going on. Yeah. It's just very odd. And that's where I'm wondering, like, honestly, what does 2023 have in fold? And you know me, I'm kind of a follow the money guy because I'm a firm believer that if you follow the money, you're going to have a little bit of an understanding of what's going on. And this is where, I look at the stock market, I read the charts, and this isn't like, I have people that ask me, like, when you look at lines on a screen, like, what does it mean to you? And I'm like, but you can stretch those lines out and you can kind of predict things. So when you stretch them out, you can see, like, I see that something's coming. Something big is going to happen in this time frame because that's just where they roll. That's the way that the numbers work. So here we are now. We're at this like pivotal time in the economic condition right before Christmas. And this is a time where people are supposed to be loving with family, picking up the parcels, getting the big turkey, getting everyone together, and not worried about their personal finances. It's kind of, you put it to the back burner. We'll deal with that in January. And we have daily now, we have announcements after announcement after announcement about interest rate increases. We're going to be tightening our economic stuff. And I go like, give people a holiday.
Yeah, we're gonna raise interest rates. We're still going to do carbon tax. We're going to still do this. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. Yeah, absolutely. And nothing is our homeless population is getting out of control. Fortunately, I've been noticing in the news in Peterborough and the surrounding area, like they're starting to come up with small homes have you noticed it around us? I have
noticed a ton of information around the tiny homes community.
Yeah.
However, and you know, we have not been silent on our advocacy for the homeless issue in our community over the
Yeah.
last little while. However, the messaging around these programs is really problematic, right?
Well,
Like,
what do you think that, like, you and I have discussed this lots, but
right,
I don't know that we've discussed it on camera, because normally we're talking to someone who is with Path, who's doing a lot of great work. And it's hard to like give those kind of feelings when you're dealing with someone who's a hero, like Scott, for example. He's a hero. He's going every day to 160 people, bringing them shoes, bringing them soup. It's hard to say to that guy, yeah, no, that's fantastic, but the way you're delivering your message
yeah,
is not great.
yeah.
Right? How do you do that when he is the one that's in the front lines? It'd be like, it's not a good idea. But so,
Well, I think you nailed it, right?
yeah.
You get a guy like Scott who's, you know, out there and he's doing God's work. He's out there doing the things that people need,
Yeah.
right? And we come along, these lowly, handsome buggers, handsome,
So
Scott,
handsome.
right? Just terribly handsome. There it is. He took the hat off.
Yeah.
But we come along and we say, hey, listen, we think you have an interesting cause. We're not saying that it's the be all end all, but we think you have a really interesting cause. How can we help you? And we open up our opportunity for this organization to, you know, what can we do to really spread your message? What is your message? And the message, what I've seen so far, has been a Facebook group that is yelling. Like they're just yelling. And that's where I'm hoping that we can
Yeah.
calm that down and go to like winning hearts and minds. And I know that, you know, the advocate in everyone is saying, hey, the time for, you know, winning hearts and minds is maybe over. It's cold. We're going to get a big snowstorm here tonight and all that. You can't run a political platform on yelling. Like
No.
it really doesn't win. So that's where we have to give the opportunity for these politicians, the people that are going to make these decisions, that we got them elected on this platform, right? That was a big platform at the election. When we were interviewing Jeff Leal here before the election, the new mayor in our town here, that was one of his biggest pushes, was I think that there's an opportunity here for homeless. And his plan had a little bit more fleshed out than a lot of the other ones. And I think it was a pivotal way for why he got elected. But you got to give him some runway.
Yeah.
He's got to go in. He's just been sworn in, right? We're a month into this new election platform that he's trying to manage. He's got to put his finger in the air and feel what the pulse is.
Yeah, no, he really does have to. Like, people are fed up with the way our little community has been dealing with the homeless. Like they basically just been ignoring it. Just basically, we're not going to have a plan. That's our plan. Our plan is that we're not going to move them. We're not going to police them. We're not going to, help them, but we're not going to not help them. Like, it's just going to be, they're here, and, it's just not a great plan. And then, Jeff comes in, and like you said, in our interview, he had a couple of really great ideas, but even he, being politically as he is, was like, but we'll see. I got to see what resources we have and stuff like that.
Right.
And to be honest, it's absolutely right. You got to see what the people want. They don't want another tent city somewhere. Talking to Path, though, it doesn't look like that's what it's going to be. It looks like it's going to be a successful place for people to live and stay. But you're absolutely right. So we were talking to some of the steering committee of Path, and they're wonderful people. And this is what I'm saying. When we talk to them, it's hard for us to say anything but positive. It's really hard because they are doing God's work. Pat and I are doing nothing. Like, I'm not, like, I do talk to people who are homeless. I will give them money if they walk up to me, but I'm not going out of my way to deliver soup or anything. So, like, I really have no right to say anything to these people. But the advice that we're trying to give is that they are of the opinion, and rightly so, that it should be a no-brainer, that they did all of the hard stuff. So for them, all the hard stuff was building the homes and getting the money and getting the people behind them. the property was the easy thing for them. And you and I were like, property's the hardest place. Like finding a place that everyone's going to be happy that you're located, that's the hardest spot. That's something that you have to like use politics to create. You have to use PR. You have to convince a whole population that this is a good thing because people don't want it. People want it. I bet you I could go out there and I could talk to like 6 people on the street right now and go, hey, Pat, tiny homes. Do you want that? Every single one of them go, oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to put it right here. No. Let's put it over there. Yeah. You know,
I think you
haven't done that groundwork yet.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. And that's unfortunately, I think where the local media is driving the story from. So the local media is coming in, the local politicians that are against it, and the local media is saying, you guys haven't thought it out enough. You know, come on back to us. Like, we're not anti, this program. Come on back to us after you've thought it out. And they took a lot of offense to that. And it's like, we've thought it out. We've laid it all out. And it's like, you don't have a place to put it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you're right. You've thought it out. It's a great plan. You've really done it, except you haven't got a place to put it.
Yeah.
So let's get you a place to put it. But we can't just yell and we can't just scream and we can't just pound our fist and be like, inaction is no action. Because that's
how dare you? How dare you not be? You don't care about the homeless because you don't want to put them on a piece of property.
Right.
And that's not the case.
And these
lots of people care.
Yeah. And these are the hard conversations that I think that if we can get you know me, I am not a fuzzy feeling guy. Scott won me over, right?
Oh, totally. Won me over too.
Having the conversation with him, he won me over that this is a potential real life scenario that works, that fits, that can really be a real winner as part of a cog of the wheel, right?
Yeah,
it's the whole thing.
Yeah. It doesn't fit everybody. Like we still need warming rooms. We're still going to need, some sort of shelters other than those. But it is a good part, a good beginning. I think it's perfect for people that need a leg up, and they can get a leg up there, and it'll be great for them. So you were just mentioning hard conversations, and it just triggered Bob McCabe, I believe his name was.
Yeah.
I remember that interview because we started talking, and he started talking about how a priest abused him. And you and I talked afterwards, and we talked about how it was a hard interview for us because you and I are both very Catholic.
Yep.
We both believe in the Catholic Church, and we both have had that different experience that some people haven't had. And Bob McCabe is no different. I mean, Bob McCabe is different, where he had a terrible experience from an awful person, like a terrible person. As far as I'm concerned, that person isn't a priest, never was a priest, never was part of God. Terrible. And I couldn't even imagine. Like, I was trying to put myself in that position and think back to the priest that I loved and admired and would have literally done anything for. Like, Bob talked about that. He said, I would do anything, so would my parents, there's nothing that I wouldn't trust this guy to do. And for him to do something like that, something that dark.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I remember that you and I talked afterwards. We kind of debriefed at how hard that was because, like it was hard not to scream, but not all priests.
Yeah.
But not all, because my personal, my priest was amazing. He was encouraging. Yeah. He played hockey with it. It was great. But how do you do that when this guy's telling his truth that is like so dark and so hard and really derailed his life?
Absolutely. And it's funny because we did have this conversation, and I've had conversations with other people similarly. You and I come from a foundation that is similar. When I have conversations with other people, they look at the Catholic Church sex abuse scandal as it is a disqualifier for moral grounds. Like you don't get to tell anyone else anything else because these events.
Yeah.
right? It's very much a thing. Like I would argue, we've had conversations with people where you know we're kind of like, hey, let's talk about religion and politics, like the two things you don't talk about ever.
At
We're
the
like that
bar.
with everybody. So
Everybody. Yeah.
we've had these conversations where all of a sudden it gets stirred to
Yeah.
the church, and I hate to say it, but a lot of women, it's a disqualifier.
Yes.
It is just an immediate disqualifier. And
Yeah.
for myself, his interview, I knew a little bit of the background. I didn't
Yeah.
know much. And when we first started, I didn't know if I wanted to partake in it.
Right.
So my position is that this channel, everything that we're doing is we're here to have these hard conversations, interesting conversations, and everyone should be allowed to have these conversations 100%. My problem was at the time is that I'm not going to be a part of piling on, right? Something that I hold faithful and true in my life, I'm not going to pile on. And I thought he was very respectful.
He was.
And that's not that he necessarily needs to be, right?
Nope.
After that whole process. But that's why I felt comfortable with doing the interview and continuing with the interview after talking with him. Because he's like, we're not going to detail things. Like this is not a pile on. This is simply telling my story.
Yeah.
And that I'm like, I respect that. I can totally get down with that. I am not here to defend criminal priests, criminal people, but right. And I'm using priests just to contextualize that, because they're not men of God. They're not spiritual.
Not at all.
You couldn't possibly be. But I wouldn't also like Hockey Canada, and I'm not trying to conflate the two issues. Sorry?
Boy Scouts.
Right.
Thing.
So, and I'm not trying to conflate the two.
No.
When you have the religious connotation, it is a deeper, darker pain. I believe that.
Yes.
But if you come from a secular family, where religion or faith or that sort of thing is not an important part of your life, if your hockey coach is holding your potential career over you, and this is the coach, the guy that's going to make or break you, it's a very similar type context, and the power dynamics are very real.
Yeah.
So that interview was hard, and it was one of our
ice skating, figure skating, that the same kind of thing. Those coaches, they hold all the cards. You respect them. You would do anything, like coaches I had in the past, or your football coach, man. Like you just completely respect them to a level. Now I agree, priests are a whole other level.
Yeah.
And so my personal take on that is the Catholic Church made a bunch of mistakes, terrible mistakes. Moving priests that have did sexual assault to another congregation was just a terrible thing to do.
Wrong.
But I also know that there's so much good in the Catholic Church. I've seen it. I've been part of it. The priests that I have worked with, and I've worked with quite a few over the years, have been just brilliant and encouraging and kind, not trying to lessen Bob McCade's journey or anyone else's. But what I'm trying to say is that it was a hard interview for that reason, because it was like, that person was an evil man.
Right. And that was, to be honest with you, pal, that was where, when he said, he's like, I went and forgave him, and I made a comment there about like, he wasn't a priest. Like that is, to me, like you're still calling him father.
I know. Yeah.
To me, but to me, that is like his faith, Bob's faith, is so profound that he still respects the institution of priesthood to that level. Yeah. Where he's like, this man he did terrible, awful things to me, but I can still respect the institution of that enough. Yeah. And it's like, wow, that you are the guy that should be like throwing everyone under a bus. You should be, all these.
That amazed me. And the fact that he was going and he was like, there was some sort of, he was talking about how he was going back to the church and talking about victims and stuff like that and trying to heal the church.
Absolutely.
And I remember making a comment going, I just don't even know how you do that. Like that takes like a whole other level of forgiveness, considering that he said, I struggle with even walking into a church.
Right.
And I get that.
For sure.
But yeah, no, that was that was a tough interview for
Well,
sure.
and then you got guys like Ross,
Oh my
right?
God,
We
awesome.
go from there.
Yeah.
That buttery, sexy, soft voice of Ross,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah. I could listen to him weave a story all day.
Yeah.
He has that big personality. And I know he says that he has a face for radio, but he's also a good looking man.
Yeah.
And I just love the way he just easily chats with us.
Yeah.
And you know, like the funny thing is that you and I are like we're both like watching the clock. I see us both watching the clock because we're like, he's going to say he has to go soon. He's the only interview that we've ever had that he decides when it's over, because
Absolutely.
he tells us at the beginning,
Yeah.
I'm probably going to say, you know, I'm not going to be here very long because I'm tired.
Right.
Very tired.
No, and talk about a great guy. Brought his sons on, entrepreneurs, great dudes.
Oh.
Hopefully going to do some cool little projects with those guys.
Yeah.
In the new year here. So we've got lots of exciting stuff. But
yeah, we talked to both of them about something on the ground for sure.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like I look at Ross, and again, after losing my father last year, you know, a guy like that, I love just catching his ear and sitting down and having these conversations, because to me it's that maturity difference, right? Like you get someone like that who's been through those times, who's lived through a lot of these same experiences we're going through right now. You know, where you end up in a situation where the economy, he's been up and down, he's seen it all. What are you going to shock me?
Yeah.
Right. Like, and they just come with this steady flow of understanding and their viewpoint, and with his rich storytelling. And I don't know if we necessarily got that out of him so much live, but I loved it when we'd be backstage here talking. And just the way that he rolls those stories. So Ross is fantastic. And his sons, both gentlemen. And like I said, we'd love to do some cool stuff with them in the near future here.
Yeah. And then Coach Kate, we're going to do something maybe possibly on the ground with her. Like we got, like now that we're listing all this, we got a couple of on the ground kind of things coming up in the future. We've just met some great people. Coach Kate, she's inspirational. She's kind. She's funny. She at Halloween there, she had me, she invited me to a run. So I went out and I ran a 5K with her. And
was that her?
That was her. Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I thought it was with your running group.
No. So there were two people from my running group that showed up, and I went, "What are you doing here?" And they're like, "Oh, I love Coach Kate. She's just one of those people that knows everybody." But yeah, no, Coach Kate has some great things. So she's leaving her profession and she's starting her own gym. And she's going to be like a full-time motivator / teaching you how to eat, how to work out, how to change your life.
I like to say that we knew Kate before she was Kate. We launched her. You know,
it was all totally us.
Right under the wing.
Yeah. You'll probably get a tattoo of us, like somewhere, maybe on her arm.
Our logo up in the corner here.
That's right. Yeah, that logo in the corner. Yeah. I'll talk to her. But no, like, so I've been talking to her off and on because I love, and like she's always posting stuff on Instagram. I check out her Instagram if you get a chance. But she's always posting stuff on Instagram. So I talk back and forth with her and she sends me messages. And but yeah, no. So in the future, very close, we're going to find out more about her new venture. I'm pretty excited for her. She's very excited. Just go to Cuba first, though. So
it's really the important things,
right? You know, before any big adventure, you go to Cuba. That's what you do. Yeah, and then there was Denise. So Denise, again, like Denise, just a ball of sunshine. I love that girl. She's all about travel. She is up and moving again. I think just recently I saw her in Egypt. But she went on a cruise with her family. And now I think she's in Egypt. I don't know. Like I saw her wearing
back to Germany, now Egypt.
Yeah. Yeah. And then she plans on going to Belize after that, but I am not 100% sure.
Yep.
But she's out there, she's doing it. Like these people aren't just lip service. They're not, like, the people that we're meeting aren't just lip service. And that's what I love. These are the people that are out there doing it, changing lives. Bob and Kate is changing lives. Coach Kate, changing lives, helping people find their inner self, their inner beauty, whatever that is, and moving them forward with the assistant. Denise is helping people find their true travel, but also traveling. Like, it's not like she's sitting behind a computer, eating bonbons.
Yeah.
She's actually doing it.
Yeah.
So
well, and I would argue that I know a guy that's kind of done that over the last 7 or 8 months of doing this as well, and who's been out there every day plugging motivational content and really driving this whole thing for it. So I'd like to, honestly, man, I really want to thank myself for all the hard work I've put into this.
It's been fantastic. I've been loving all the stuff you've been doing. I really appreciate the videos you do every day. And you put out,
every day. So
can I do this? Can you do this?
Grind. It's
all right.
It's the grind, but
like when you wake up at 4 a.m. every morning, and you're putting out content 4 a.m. every morning, and you're doing yoga.
But I do it because I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And our friendship is important to me.
Yes.
So I am just always out there making sure that. And
I've heard somewhere that you just want to help people.
Were you thinking I was going to say you?
No. You just want to help people one person at a time. Like, it's not a big mission.
You'd almost say that I'm, trying to like heal, like maybe like their minds, but also their bodies.
Right.
And taking a more like spiritual, like in their soul and their hearts.
Yeah. It's like you're throwing starfish back into the big lake.
One would say.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely true. And I do appreciate everything you're saying backhandedly, because you must think I'm very special.
Well, so at the end of the day, obviously I'm talking about this guy beside me who has really jumped on here and taking this on. So I do very much appreciate him. He gives me a platform where I get to, like, usually I'm just a loudmouth asshole anyways. So now I get a camera in front of me, a bit of an audience, right? Like, I can't think of anything better. And the people who know me best are out there laughing, going,
yeah,
it's true. But no, man, you've done a great job with this, and you're killing it. I'm very proud of you. I look at what you've done, you've accomplished with your personal life, with what your weight loss journey and the motivation that you've spun that into. And I'm proud of you. It's been an interesting 2022. I look forward to seeing what 2023 is to have for you. And I think it's going to be pretty cool for you.
Oh, I appreciate that. It has been it's been quite a year. Like, when I think back, so I was just saying to someone, I think it might've been my kids, this will be the first year that I am not dating someone over the Christmas and New Year's.
Think of the money you've saved.
I've saved a ton of money already. But no, there's that I used to, like, I think I used to just jump from relationship to relationship, but now I'm just working on me.
Yep.
I like, this running thing has become like such a huge part of my life. Like, right now I'm actually training for a half marathon, which I never thought I'd do ever. And it's funny. Like, tonight I ran 19.5K because I wanted to. Not because I had to.
Yeah.
Because I just felt like it. I just started running and I was enjoying it, and I just kept on going. And it's a weird thing for me. Like, it's raining outside. Like, we got Stormageddon coming. Everyone's like freaking out in the stores and everything. And here I am running because I just enjoy running. It's a weird thing. And then, like, waking up early to like watch motivational videos and trying to give tidbits to the people out there, because I really do. Like, people may think I'm a fraud, but I really do believe that, each and every video I put out, each time I say some words, each time I write something on Facebook, because I also do that, I think there's someone else there that hears the message, and I don't know who they are, and I don't get to see them always, but I think it helps them. Like, I do. Like, recently, I've had a few people approach me and say, wow, your message today was just really good. It's really what I needed. I was, I was at a low point, and I needed that encouragement to move forward. And I read what you said, and I read what you said. Sorry, someone put a comment that's ridiculous. I read what you said, and it just really helped me. It got me through the day. And I just, that's the kind of stuff that I love. And then
Well,
I
you're
told
getting
you, like, what was
noticed.
it, 2 weeks ago, I
Yeah.
was walking into the Tim Hortons. I was walking into the Hortons. And this guy, out of nowhere, walks up to me and goes, "Are you James from Soaring Profits?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've seen your show." And then he started telling me about the show he watched. I'm like, "Right on. That's amazing." I have no idea who he is. No idea. But it's happened twice now where a random stranger has come up. Oh, and then let's go to Finding Fish. Mike from Finding Fish. Have I told you about him?
Right.
So he's traveling all over the place, but he's actually making content. So he used to go on trips, come back, and then make the content. That's the way he used to do it. Remember that at the beginning? Now he's making content while he's on the trips. Amazing. And he's putting it out there. People have actually hopped on a plane, gone to the place that he's been at, and looked for him and come and found him. Can you imagine? Yeah, it's amazing. They're just like, "Yeah, I bought tickets 2 days ago, and now I'm here because I saw what you were doing, and I just love it here."
Yeah.
Yeah, he's blowing up. He's doing great.
I think that's fantastic. Again, you're welcome, Mike, underneath the old wing here.
Yep.
The old wing. No, you know what?
We're getting you tattooed up too, Mike. No problem.
Yeah. When we first started with Mike, I thought, there's a guy that's going to be interesting. He's got a really cool concept. And he was, dialing in after we showed his real video, dialing in that process where you find the really interesting stuff. You're showcasing it. Now he's down there. He's got the managers of all the resorts taking them to lobster bakes and really diving into the community, which is like, that's what it needs to be. You need to find that niche. Yeah. No, he's doing fantastic. So
he started with just, I just want to show people what traveling's like, that kind of thing. And he's turned into this really kind of cool videographer that's like, just allowing us to join in on his experiences. And some of them are pretty funny. Like if you go and look at
mostly it was just tax evasion to start. Right? Like it's like I'm going on vacation, camera, I'm writing it off. Right? So like all of a sudden now he ends up in a situation where he's like making some money, maybe it's getting some influence. It's great. It works out fantastic. So
and now he has to actually claim it all.
Right. Yeah. Now it's probably costing him more in accountants than it was for the tax evasion. Yeah.
But no, he's just making some great like there's this barber video where this guy is like putting wax on his face and peeling it off, and then the guy takes a fire and starts melting the wax on his face. It is hilarious. Like I saw Mike after, and I'm like, at which point were you like, he's messing with the Canadian guy? Like this is all just bull. Like he's just doing stuff to see at which point is the Canadian guy going to go, okay, where's the camera? And then he has so many other, like a lobster bake and just some really, there's an interview with
I've been in that shack.
That's very cool.
That lobster shack that he showcased, I've been there.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's Ko Coco, that resort that he was showcasing. I've stayed there before. And it's a great spot, adults only resort. And it's like 15 or 20 minutes down the way. And when I was down there last, a hurricane had blown through about a year earlier, and it was just devastated. The whole area was devastated. And this lone shack was on, it's literally on what looks like volcanic rock.
Right.
And I can't remember if he says in his clip there about rebuilding, but it was gorgeous. The sunset, beautiful dinner. I think it was like 25 or 30 like American dollars, whatever it was at the time.
Cheap. Yeah.
For beautiful dinner, all the booze you could drink, just an experience really you couldn't have. And it's so kind of compact and that small feeling. There's about 7 or 8 tables. So everybody's there. You're having a nice night. You're talking, me, I kind of talk to everybody. So you just kind of shoot the shit with everyone, and you really get to know people from other places, other resorts. Yeah, it's very cool. And I'm glad that Mike going down there, not just sitting down and here's the bar menu, here's the drink, right? So it's fantastic. I'm glad that he's down there doing that and going from there.
Yeah, no, he's had some fantastic trips. He's traveled all over, and he's really, like you said, blowing up. Where like other resort managers are like kind of looking into him and asking him to help showcase their places and stuff like that. Interesting dude, and great. In fact, I've been talking to him about getting me plane tickets. He knows how to get the cheap plane tickets. If you're
Right.
looking for a guy to get cheap plane tickets, he's the guy.
Right.
So yeah, I'm thinking about actually about doing a 14-day vacation somewhere, where I land and I take 14 days and I go in any direction that I want to for 14 days, and then I get back on a plane and I leave, like little backpack, like I'm 20. That's my plan. And I'm going to do it, and I'm going to film it for Soaring Profits.
So, as a guy who depends heavily on you making sure that I'm able to do all the things that I want to do in my life,
Right.
I am not comfortable with you taking 14 days and jet setting around the globe without me.
Well, then come. I'll get you tickets too. Let's
Is
do
this
it.
tax evasion? Is that what this is?
It is. Actually, it's law evasion.
I really, you know what? I probably should do something like that because I'm pretty sure this tax year I'm going to get absolutely hammered.
Oh, hammered. We're both going to get hammered this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're doing well and no one else is.
No.
Because of Pat. Like right here, I'm telling you right now, I tell you all the time that Pat. Oh my God. If you guys get a chance, you should read some of these comments. They're pretty funny.
I don't know who this is.
I don't know who it is either.
Apparently,
You're killing me. It's very hard to focus. At first, I thought it was a threat, but no, it's not. It's a promise.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff out there on the internet, folks.
Weird people.
James is allowed around children.
It's true. It's true. Sorry.
Still.
Yeah, but so that's the plan, and then I actually, with my kids here, I'm going to go to iFly in Oshawa, and we're going to try that out. So iFly is like this huge fan. It's like skydiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
I'm going to film
my daughter on it. We got right to the thing, and she's like,
"No,
I don't think so."
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
So I might have that same problem because both my kids are a little like height afraid. So they'll have to take a look and see. But it was that, or I found a friend of mine, Lisa, was telling me about ice climbing. So north of Ontario, not north of Ontario, but northern Ontario, they have actual ice cliff climbing, and she's going with her kids. I'm like, I would love that. You get the axes and the spikes on your shoes, and you get to climb up and all that. So I pitched it to my kids, and my youngest was like, that just sounds terrifying. So that's a no for me. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll find someone else to do it with. So we're going to try this iFly thing, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun. I've never done anything like it before. I want to jump out of a plane sometime. So I think this is probably a good first step.
Like a perfectly good plane.
A perfectly good plane. Yeah, we're back to the car. I don't like vehicles, apparently. Like I don't want to be in a perfectly good car. I'd rather run. I don't want to be in a perfectly good plane. I want to jump out of it. So
I'm just thinking like backpacking. Like if you're thinking like 2 weeks to go backpacking somewhere, what sorry. Yeah, 2 weeks to backpack across Europe or Southeast Asia or something like that.
Yeah.
That would be pretty sick. And you're in a position right now where you looking at like a 20 or 30 kilometer tour around somewhere. I look at that and go,
yeah, for me it's nothing.
Right.
Yeah. Like I could do like 80-kilometer walk in the day, and it would not be a big deal for me because I've been doing like so much physical work, and because Pat here has made my finances as such that taking 14 days off is not a thing. Like before Pat, I wouldn't be able to take 14. Like literally, you're talking not getting paid for 14 days, putting out money, paying for like plane tickets, or even though I'm going to get cheap tickets, they're expensive. But that's all because of Pat. It's all because Pat has helped me make the right decisions in life. And if you listen to him, take the time, go back and look at some of his prior videos. You can too. Like a lot of the stuff that he taught me are in those videos, and it's lovely. And now I'm reaping the benefits. Now I'm getting to do stuff like hop on his boat and go for a tour and do like a 14-day trip where I can just go and not have to worry about what's happening here. It's a lovely feeling for a change, because I had many, many years where it was, if I had a $50 bill, I had to figure out how to pay for it. It was awful. It was very tough.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and we've talked a lot about this over the years, right? But it's one of those things that I think that coming down the pipe, there's going to be some really hard times and tough times, and this is something that I called a long time ago. And I'm not kind of putting a feather in my hat here, but I called a long time ago that this was going to be a tough year for a lot of people, and I think that you're looking at 2023 as being, especially the first part of it, it's going to get way worse before it gets better. And if people, you have to want to help yourself.
That's right.
Right. And that was where, like, you and I, we'd sit around, we'd laugh and joke and shoot the shit, and we'd have these interesting conversations, and we'd talk about, what I was doing with real estate or what I was doing with certain different things. And then it's like, no, yeah, man, but you got that. You can do that too. And here you go. This, that's, you got it. There you go, man. You're killing it. Right.
Yeah.
You've got a situation now where you've got your bills are covered, everything being paid for around you. Your 6-figure income is yours to play with.
Yeah.
That becomes becomes pretty freeing when you're going, yeah, I'm just going to pick up and go.
Yeah.
You're at that position in your life where you kind of got the empty nest. You have this opportunity, and I think it's going to be fantastic for you to be able to do those things. And the more that we can have these conversations with people and explain, like, there's nothing wrong with the struggle, right? But it doesn't have to be an all-encompassing battle.
Yeah.
There's some pretty basic things that we can work on today that can really change your whole outlook and position and way of life. And it's not hard. It's not hard. It's just that they need to become the priorities. And if the priorities are a case of beer in the fridge, and now every corner store's got a pot shop attached to it, if those are your priorities, I promise you that those are not going to be easy life choices. So if you can find out a way to prioritize your health and wealth and family, it's going to be an easy boat to row.
Well, that's the whole thing, is that I went from, I'm going to give 100% of every check to other people.
Yeah.
I'm going to, 100% of every check went to someone else.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until we started having these conversations that I was like, well, there's no reason why I can't keep like 40%.
Yep.
And go put it into something that makes me money.
Right.
And that was the first simple step. It was like, well, why aren't you using that 40%? Why are you just making money for other people?
Yeah.
When your money can make it money for you, right? That was
the
first step. And then, go ahead.
It's a change of mindset. Yeah. So when you're in a situation, and so we're trained to be consumers. Everything we do from a childhood, right? Like, I want you to think back to your childhood, it might have been the wheel, you're so old, but like Stretch Armstrong.
Right? It was the fire.
Right.
Yeah, we got fire. Fire.
Right. But like, whatever the toy was as a child, McDonald's made $1 bajillion making sure that children came out and went, McDonald's. Where do you want to eat? McDonald's. Like, they've made $1 cajillion over the years by creating consumers. So when you step back, and instead of consuming, that ideology of consuming constantly, and you go to an idea of abundance, right? Like, I don't need it. Like, I have all the things that I want. I don't need that bullshit thing. The Jordans don't make you happy. I promise you right now, I never wanted a boat. I bought a boat. I am no happy with or without a boat. Doesn't matter.
No, you're right. Yeah. And you also didn't buy like the boat. Like, it wasn't a $30,000 boat that you could have bought.
Right. 100%.
You could have walked in and bought a $50,000 boat easily.
Right.
You had enough money for that. And you're like, I didn't need that.
No. And that was my whole point, is that I wanted to go and have a little fun with it. For me, it was family.
Yeah.
Right. I got an opportunity now where my daughter and I, on a weekend, we go out and putz around. Sometimes I take other, low life friends. Yeah. Terrible people. But you get a couple buddies together and you go out and you jump on the boat and you cruise around a little bit. But it has nothing to do with my level of happiness.
No,
The items in our daily life have nothing to do with that. And it's more and more this time of year, you really got to look at that. And
that's
it's
right.
funny. I've got a beautiful 13-year-old daughter who I'm more and more and more trying to convince that it doesn't matter if you're wearing the Lululemons. It doesn't matter the Jordans. It doesn't
Right.
matter. It's about here and what you're doing and what are you doing to help other people and to drive your own message and to create something. It doesn't matter what you're wearing, what you got on your feet, that sort of thing. Go out, feel good, look good, you're good, but it doesn't matter. You don't need the Gucci, you don't need the Dior, you don't need that stuff. And she's just starting to realize that when she looks around and sees people like that, they're broke,
Totally.
right? They're broke. Those people don't have money. They're flaunting the appearance of what they have. They don't have it. When I look at my bank account and I go, that's a good amount of zeros. I can afford all that shit. I don't need it.
Don't need it at all. Yeah. No, and you know what? So I've been the last couple of years, instead of buying gifts for my kids, like I buy them candies because they get the stockings from Santa. I get them experiences. You know, like we're going to go to Ottawa here this summer and see Shania Twain.
Wow.
Which will be a fun experience, like a blues fest.
Yep.
Could be great. Could be a lot of fun. I might be able to write something off there because it'll be part of our business, but whatever. But that's just it. I don't want, like, that's what I told them. Like, and I tell other people. So sometimes people will come to me and go, you know what, I want to buy my dad something. But I don't know what to buy. What experience? I'm going to tell you right now, if you say to him, I want you, Dad, for Christmas, we're going to Tim Hortons and we're going to have a donut.
Yeah.
That will be the best Christmas gift you could ever fucking give your dad.
So my father passed away right before Christmas. So thank you for bringing that up around this time of year. I appreciate that. I'm only kidding. But no, 100%. And that's what it was. Right. No, but that was 100%. That's what we would do. So my dad and I, we were not growing up. We had the Christmas chair.
Right.
Like, why? Who's got time for a tree? We didn't put up a tree all the time. So we had the Christmas chair for years. And I would walk, like when I was moved away, he lived by himself. He's like, I'm not putting up a tree. Yeah. So we would wake up and it was the Christmas chair. And it would be magical. And it was the mystery of the Christmas chair. And I like, it's a story. It's hilarious. I loved it. That was him. Mm-hmm. And when we would do stuff, it would be the odd thing. And then, when we're going, we'll roll this into our next vacation, our next trip, doing something with the horses, right? Whatever it was. But that was how that was so much more important than the item.
Yeah.
The item itself gets lost, broken, stolen, whatever. It's immaterial at the end of the day. The stuff that really matters and is tangible is that stuff that you just, until your buddy brings up your dead father at Christmas.
Yeah, because he's a jerk. He's a jerk. But it's about time. It's all about time. It's about learning that you don't need the newest Xbox or the newest Sony or the newest whatever it is doll.
Hang on a second. What is the newest thing? Just asking for a friend.
I have no idea. Actually, Profiteers out there, if you guys know what the newest thing is, don't tell us because we don't care.
That's right. Yeah.
No, honest to God, I don't care anymore. Like I used to be like, what's the best phone? Like I was very tech savvy. Like I was like, I want to know what the best phone was. I was constantly watching, researching. I wanted to know what the best computer was. I wanted to know, what's the top TV. I have a TV sitting in another room that I don't even know it's been on in 2022. Like I honest to God, I don't think I've seen it on in 2022. Haven't sat down in front of it. Don't care. I don't want to watch anything, right?
Dude, I have a living room in my house right now that has 3 TVs that aren't even plugged in.
That doesn't surprise me.
Like it's so insane to me. And I think to myself, I'm like,
we did that for a Soaring Profits episode. You and I were trying to hook up a TV so we could run your graphs. And so we put the 3 TVs in your living room. I remember that now.
Like 3 TVs. And it's like, I have no want, reason, rhyme, whatever. And I've kept this space. So my father was sick. It was kind of his area in the house when he was dying, right? So I just haven't figured out what I'm going to do with it yet. Like, to be very frank, my house is, big. We have lots of space. I do not lack for space.
No.
So I've been trying like, what's next? And I don't know if that becomes a studio. I don't know if that becomes a pool room. I don't know what it becomes, and I've got
I
to
was
figure that out.
hot tub. Can we get a hot
Hot
tub in
tub.
there?
My
That's what I'm going
my
for.
hardwood floors would not appreciate that.
No, probably not. No, you have a lovely, huge home, and you do not lack for space. Like you really, you have space downstairs even still that's available.
Yeah.
And I get that because it's kind of an entranceway kind of thing. And yeah, I don't know what I do with it either, but a pool room sounds kind of fun.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe
it's
a
weird because you walk
yeah,
in my house and
yeah.
you kind of go one way off to the kitchen living
Mhm.
room. You go upstairs, like it's a staircase right away when you walk in, and then this whole this whole like we'll call it the West Wing.
The best way, yeah.
They
Because
just
it
call me the Beast.
is. Yeah.
Oh, but like this whole living room area on this other side is like, what am I gonna do with this? Like I don't know, and to be honest with you, I've been too busy.
Well, especially since, like, if you look at all your other rooms,
Yeah.
which other rooms do you sit in? Right? Like, when I'm there, when I've come to visit, we're in the kitchen or we're on the patio.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're either
I only
walking to the
keep you
kitchen.
around for seasonal friendship. I'm not allowing you around in the winter.
No, I noticed because then I have to be inside.
Right.
Yeah, you don't like that. Yeah.
No,
No, you know what? In the winter, we tend to go out and do things, but
yeah,
anyway,
every once in a while we got to kick a snowbank, fall into it,
or fall into a snowbank and get pulled out of a snowbank.
punt Christmas tree, you know, all the fun stuff.
I think those days are over for me. Yeah. Anyway, man, getting back to like just the wonderful turmoil, kind of like it's funny how this started with an idea,
Yep.
and from a beautiful friendship that that you and I could have great conversations. Like I remember like us being in a bar. And you and I would be talking, and next thing you know, a young lady or a young guy would come up and start arguing with us. And then, like the one time, we had a table of what was it, 10 people came and sat around us as we were arguing, and they couldn't get a word in edgewise, but they were still at the table because you and I were like just. It must have looked like we were about to flip it because we were pretty good that day.
But it's from that conversation that this really grew out of, right? Is that you're like, this is something. You put a camera at the end of this table and we can have a lot of fun and do this. And that's where it's like, I want to get back to that. Like we've been interviewing people and we've been hearing other people's stories, but I really do think that we have a message that's really interesting and dynamic too. And a lot of our stuff I find of late is, it's the emotional touchy-feely stuff that, isn't necessarily my wheelhouse, but these stories matter, right? Yeah. And I want to tell those stories. But I think in 2023, diving into some of the different things too, and some of our perspectives on some of the situations. So, I'm really excited and where we are with, this and some of the new stuff that's coming down the pipe. So you're going to have to stick around, folks.
Yeah, 2022, I'm hoping we can explore in-depthly explore some businesses, get into some economics and what that's going to look like to the future. Because like next year, I think, like, especially from what you said, it's a building year. Right. At first, it's going to be tough. Hold on.
Yep.
Hold on tight. That horse is going to buck you for a while, but then opportunities, right? You're going to have lots of opportunities. And if you hold on tight right now and be ready for those opportunities, then you can really explore. And I'm looking forward to talking to some of these businesses that are just starting out, and some of the businesses have been around for a long time, and seeing how, they've ebbed and flowed with, what's going on in the world. And I also looking forward to like delving into some of the charities and stuff like that, and interesting stuff. And I have some races coming up that
you have what?
Some races coming up. I have a 21
club. I have some racists.
Oh, racists. Yeah. That's what
those two.
Callus Dia. I don't even know. But yeah, no. So I'm just really excited about what our future holds. I think Soaring Profits is right at that moment. We're at that like preface that I talked, that point. I think we're at that point where we could fall, like we could just like, because we've done a lot of work. And, sometimes we're tired and sometimes we don't, there's been days when we're both like, either you or I are like, come on, let's go. Let's get this done, But
you know me, dear. I'm always picking you up.
It's just exciting. It's we're at that point that we could really take off, and we, next year, is going to be, I think, our year that we're going to like really explore some interesting content, some interesting people, and we're going to have a lot of fun along the way.
Yep.
And create some tax shelters. I mean,
well, folks, with tax evasion being said, pretty good point to preface off of that. But no, folks, thank you again so much. We the things that we do here, we couldn't do it without the love and support that we get from you guys, and every opportunity that we get to talk with people, like James was saying earlier, he's getting out in the community now, and people are like, "Hey, I know you," right? That's a super cool feeling, and it's kind of a unique one, right? So that's pretty awesome. So first of all, I want to thank you guys for a really cool 2022. I'm excited for 2023. I want to thank this guy over here, dude. I appreciate you more than I can say. You've done amazing stuff. Very cool. And as always, folks, I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. We will see you bright and early in 2023. And folks, let's make some money together.
So I just realized that I've been saying I'm very excited about 2022. I've been really excited about 2023. You know what? This guy beside me pumps my tires all the time, but he has been an excellent partner in this. I can't tell you, and I can't even describe how he helps in ways that you cannot even understand. I'll come to him with like an idea, sometimes super crazy, and he just like, I bring him a coal and he just like presses it, molds it, looks at it all sides. He's like, yeah, well, why don't we play with this diamond instead? Because it's way better. And I'm like, that is way better. And it just happens again and again and again. And you know what? I can truly say I love this guy and I think he's fantastic. And I think if you keep watching, you're not only going to make a lot of money, but you're going to learn a lot of great things from both of us. And I'm excited about 2023. We got a lot of exciting things coming, and I can't wait to tell you about some of them. And you know what? Let's heal our minds, bodies, and souls together.
You don't even know how hard it was for me